Good evening, Max.
Hello. The films of the honeymoon have arrived at last. We timed, you think, before dinner? What on earth have you done to yourself?
Oh, nothing. I just ordered a new dress from London. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, no. Well, do you think that sort of thing's right for you? Doesn't seem your type at all.
I thought you'd like it.
And what have you done to your hair? Oh, I see. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. I'm sorry. You look lovely, lovely. It's very nice for a change. Shall we see these pictures?
Yes, I'd love to see them.
Ah, look now. Oh, look at that.
Wasn't it wonderful, darling? Can't we go back there someday?
Yes, of course, of course. Ah, look at you. Won't our grandchildren be delighted when they see how lovely you were?
Oh, look at you.
Yes. oh, I see.
Oh, I like that. Look at that.
That's very nice.
Oh, remember that.
Yes.
Oh, I wish our honeymoon could have lasted forever, Max.
Oh, dash it, look. Oh, hang it. Threaded it up wrong as usual or something. Yes, Fritz, what is it?
Excuse me, sir. May I have a word with you?
Yes. Come in.
It's about Robert, sir. There's been a slight unpleasantness between him and Mrs. Danvers.
Oh, dear.
Robert is very upset.
Oh, this is trouble. What is it?
It appears that Mrs. Danvers has accused Robert of stealing a valuable ornament from the morning room. Robert denies the accusation most emphatically, sir.
What was the thing, anyway?
China Cupid, sir.
Oh, dear, that's one of our treasures, isn't it? Well, tell Mrs. Danvers to get to the bottom of it somehow and tell her I'm sure it wasn't Robert.
Very good, sir.
Oh, why do they come to me with these things? That's your job, sweetheart.
Maxim, I wanted to tell you, but, well, I forgot. The fact is, I broke the China Cupid.
You broke it? Now, why on earth didn't you say something about it when Fritz was here?
I don't know. I didn't like to. I was afraid he'd think me a fool.
Well, you think you're much more of a fool now. You'll have to explain to him and Mrs. Danvers.
Oh, no, Maxim. You do it. I'll go upstairs.
Don't be such a little idiot, darling. Anybody would think you were afraid of them. It's all a mistake, Mrs. Danvers. Apparently, Mrs. De Winter broke the cupid herself and forgot to say anything about it.
I'm so sorry. I never thought that I'd get Robert into trouble.
Is it possible to repair the ornament, madam?
No, I'm afraid it isn't. It was smashed into pieces.
What did you do with the pieces?
Well, I put them at the back of one of the drawers in the writing desk.
Well, it looks as though Mrs. De Winter were afraid you were going to put her in prison, doesn't it, Mrs. Danvers? Well, never mind. Do what you can to find the pieces, see if they can be mended, and above all, tell Robert to dry his tears.
I shall apologize to Robert, of course. Perhaps if such a thing happens again, Mrs. De Winter will tell me personally.
Yes, yes, all right. Thank you, Mrs. Danvers. Well, I suppose that clip will hold all right. I don't know.
I'm awfully sorry, darling. It was very careless of me. Mrs. Danvers must be furious with me.
Oh, hang Mrs. Danvers. Why on earth should you be frightened of her? You behave more like a upstairs maid or something, not like the mistress of the house at all.
Yes, I know I do. But I feel so uncomfortable. I try my best every day, but it's very difficult with people looking me up and down as if I were a prize cow.
Well, what does it matter if they do? You must remember that life at Mantle is the only thing that interests anybody down here.
What a slap in the eye I must have been to them then. I suppose that's why you married me. Because you knew I was dull and gauche and inexperienced, and there could never be any gossip about me.
Gossip? What do you mean?
I don't know. I just said it for something to say. Don't look at me like that. Maxim, what's the matter? What have I said?
Wasn't a very attractive thing to say, was it?
No. It was rude, hateful.
I wonder if I did a very selfish thing in marrying you.
How do you mean?
I'm not much of a companion to you, am I? You don't get much fun, do you? You ought to have married a boy, someone of your own age.
Maxim, why do you say this? Of course we're companions.
Are we? I don't know. I'm very difficult to live with.
No, you're not difficult. You're easy, very easy. Our marriage is a success, isn't it? A great success? We're happy, aren't we? Terribly happy. If you don't think we are happy, it would be much better if you didn't pretend. I'll go away. Why don't you answer me?
How can I answer you when I don't know the answer myself? If you say we're happy, let's leave it at that. Happiness is something I know nothing about. Oh, look. There's the one when I left the camera running on the tripod, remember?
Pardon me, madam. Is there anything I can do for you?
I'm all right, Hilda. Thank you very much.
I'll bring the sandwiches immediately, madam.
Hilda,
Yes, madam?
the West Wing. Nobody ever uses it anymore, do they?
No, madam. Not since the death of Mrs. De Winter.
Come along, Mr. Jack, or someone may see you.
Well, Danny, old Harvey, it's been good to see you again. I've been simply breathless to pick up all the news.
I really don't think it's wise for you to come here, Mr. Jack.
Jasper, come here.
Oh, nonsense, nonsense. It's just like coming back home.
Quiet, Mr. Jack.
Yes, and we must be careful not to shock Cinderella, mustn't we?
She's in the morning room. If you leave through the garden door, she won't see you.
I must say I feel a little like the poor relation sneaking around through back doors. Well, toodaloo, Danny.
Goodbye, Mr. Jack. And please be careful.
Looking for me? Oh, I didn't make you jump, did I?
No, of course not. I didn't quite know who it was.
Yes. You're pleased to see me, aren't you, old boy?
I'm glad there's someone in the family to welcome me back to Manderley.
And, how is dear old Max?
Very well, thank you.
I hear he went up to London, left his little bride all alone. It's too bad. Isn't he rather afraid that somebody might come down and carry you off?
Danny, all your precautions were in vain. The mistress of the house was hiding behind the door. Oh, what about presenting me to the bride?
This is Mr. Favell, madam.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Won't you have some tea or something?
Well, now, isn't that a charming invitation? I've been asked to stay to tea, Danny, and I have a good mind to accept. Oh, well, perhaps you're right. Pity, just we're getting on so nicely. We mustn't lead the young bride astray, must we, Jasper? Goodbye. It's been fun meeting you. Oh, and by the way, It would be very decent of you if you didn't mention this little visit to your revered husband. He doesn't exactly approve of me.
Very well.
That's very sporting of you. I wish I had a young bride of 3 months waiting for me at home. I'm just a lonely old bachelor. Fare thee well. Oh, and I know what was wrong with that introduction. Danny didn't tell you, did she? I'm Rebecca's favorite cousin. Toodaloo.